Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Thursday Mornings with Alex and Don, where Pastor Don answers all of your questions on theology, parenting, and whether he can tell if you're sleeping in church. Enjoy. Please like and subscribe. So good morning.
Good morning, Alex.
How you doing?
So far, so good.
Good. You were talking earlier about people listening or watching this thing, and do you think people are watching, especially from the congregation?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
and I even hear people in Michigan,
Oh, yeah?
in Kansas, and Virginia. Yeah.
Oh, boy. That's cool.
You don't hear from people.
No. Except for my family, you know.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Facebook.
A
Yeah.
little feedback here and there. My wife's like, wow, you really need a haircut. Wow, you really need a haircut. I can't believe you went there with that, like, half grizzly beard. And here I am again.
Yeah.
Yep. But, yeah, we got kids at home. They take up a little bit of time, you know. so-
Lumberjack look. Yeah.
That's right.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I was asking about, I was thinking about it would be kind of a cool way to, like, figure out if people are actually watching or listening. So we got that harvest blessing coming up. All right,
Yeah.
so imagine this with me. So we're sitting there, we're listening to the songs and stuff. The backdrop of the combine is sitting there because we're going to be out in the Westchester School Park.
That's right.
And then we'd have the unloading auger of the, of the combine swung out, And then we just decide that, during the service, we're going to turn that thing on. And how we find out if people are watching is that they won't sit underneath that auger because we're going to fill it with nickels or confetti. Maybe not nickels. That might be gross, but confetti. And then you'd find out, like, people who sitting under there being, oh, yeah, this is kind of, this is cool. And then we turn it on and they get covered with potato salad. I don't know.
Yeah.
Might be kind of cruel.
That might be a video moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be kind of funny. I don't know. I'm sure that would not be a good idea, but that's how I think about it. All right, first question comes from Rob Stout. Where did the term and what does it mean, robbing Peter to pay Paul?
Well, that would come out of the New Testament, and part of it was had to do with what was going on between the two churches. So
Mhm.
they were taking up a collection
Yeah.
that was for Jerusalem, but it really, it's more what we put on to it than what really happened, because the collection was for the poor in Jerusalem, and it made it there. We know it made it there, and we know Paul made it there because he got arrested there. But robbing Peter to pay Paul would be like taking from one ministry to another.
Mm.
And so a lot of it came out of the parachurch ministry movement. So instead of paying our tithes to our local church, well, we got this ministry that's doing exciting things over here,
Gotcha.
so we give it over here, and then the local church
Gotcha.
suffers.
So robbing Peter, is that where that came from?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's kind of cool. Is there anything, there's nothing like bad about, like, because this church is still part of the Methodist church system, and so a portion of our tithes or offerings go to, different objectives that the United Methodist Church has set in place. I was going to say summer camps, but I'm not sure if a lot of it goes to that anymore or not. But is that a good thing? Like, what is your...
Well, in this situation, I'm relieved of all those aspects because
Sure.
that's done by the administrative council.
Mhm.
And I just preach and teach
Yep.
and visit, and that's sort of a relief
Uh-huh.
to not have that administrative piece. What I believe, I think being part of a group of Christians is a good thing.
Mhm.
Being isolated into ourselves probably isn't.
Yeah.
Because we can get on a lot of rabbit trails on that.
Oh, yeah.
But I also think we have to be very careful who we associate with,
Sure.
and remain in full association with those who we agree with and who echo our views, and then less so those who don't.
Mm-hmm. Goes with a lot of those things. I was listening to this guy's, did you ever watch that Duck Dynasty show?
I haven't.
No? Okay.
Something I should put in my
I think
entourage of listening.
I think so. It was a very, very popular show like 5-6 years ago, and maybe 5-6 years ago, but they ended every episode with them sitting around the dinner table praying, and that was kind of one of the first time that was really popular, in a mainstream show. And I was just like a bunch of rough and tumble guys that were making duck calls, doing stupid things, and being really funny.
I have heard the main guy give his testimony in an interview.
Phil Robertson, that's his name, yep.
I was very impressed.
I like him, but he was saying something about, I think he wrote a book, and in it he was like, when they ask him about what his political affiliations, he says, well, I don't know. I'm not a Democrat. I wouldn't call myself a Republican, but I'm a Jesus-ocrat, or whatever that would be. That's who I affiliate with, and that's who I would want to be. So I think that'd be the right group to affiliate with. So
I agree.
What day is the Sabbath? Is it supposed to be Saturday?
Well, if you're a Jew, yes, it would be Saturday. And so if you want to call Sabbath, it would be Saturday. If you want to talk about the Lord's Day, that would be Sunday.
Explain.
Well, because the Lord was raised from the dead on the first day of the week.
Okay.
And so Sabbath would have been Saturday. The day he was raised would be Sunday. And so that's why Christians, we celebrate the Lord's Day rather than the Sabbath. Although we tend to communicate a lot of Sabbath language into our Lord's Day.
We translate it into it. Yeah, that's something that I always thought was kind of interesting, how, like the 10 Commandments, what is it? The 4th commandment is to keep the Sabbath holy, right? And then in Matthew, was it? I think Matthew.
Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath.
Sure. That's not the direction I was going, okay. Yes. But the direction I was going is how I thought it was interesting how in the Old Testament we've got these commandments, we've got these laws, and then, very precise, which is what we would want like our own government to do, is be precise. Don't just say don't be a bad people, but our government makes it very precise because we want it that way. And in the Old Testament it was very precise. And then Jesus comes along and is like, okay, so honor the Lord and love your God and love your neighbor as yourself.
Right.
And everything else stems off of that. I always thought that was kind of interesting how it got simplified, because you look at like all the laws, even in our own government, it's just like, don't take from your neighbor.
Right.
Don't take from him. Don't take his peace. Don't take his property. Don't take, his joy in his life and all that kind of stuff.
And to do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Yeah. Golden rule. That was very interesting how simplifying it, and then how almost like how the disciples didn't like push back a little bit on that, because they had all grown up obviously Jewish. Not all of them, right? All of them?
Yeah, all of them. Yeah. Various levels.
Yeah.
But to call any of the 12 really good practicing Jews might be a stretch.
Okay.
Because they were rough and tumble guys of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Normal, run the street, fisherman, publican. Think about Matthew, and you think of Simon the Zealot.
Mm.
He was a political activist. They were quite a crew. And to think that Jesus called them.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that he just, come over here. It was, he had an intention
with each one of them. Yeah. Yeah, I always thought that was kind of, you're right, the rough and tumble thing. I always think of Garden of Gethsemane. When he just like hacks off his ear because he's defending Jesus, even though Jesus was like, okay, peace, I'm here, they're going to take me, and he was just like, wow, and just like, no, here, slap that ear back on, okay, let's go, what are you doing,
Here I spent 3 years with you, Peter, and you still didn't get it. Can you imagine a teacher? Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I taught you all of these things. Yeah,
the moment the test comes through, the students just blows it right out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always thought that was, I relate to him a lot, just with how he was, how he acted. I'm sure a lot of people do too. But why didn't any of the disciples like push back on that? Like where essentially Jesus simplifies it to love. Where they're like, yes, of course we're supposed to love, but what about these rules? I always thought that was interesting how there wasn't any pushback on it. Like,
Well, part of it was, at least in Mark's rendition of that same passage, and it's in all three synoptic gospels. In Mark's rendition of that passage, it's a response to a question. And so he's actually in a teaching situation where he's asked this question by the teachers of the law because the teachers of the law want to stump him.
mm-hmm.
And so the question is asked, and then Jesus answers with those two. Now, when he answers with those two, then what's interesting is the guy says, "Oh, hey, yeah, you got it. You're right. That makes sense."
Yeah.
And Matthew 12. Oh, that's not Matthew. That's
Is it because it's, or was it Matthew?
it's in Mark and Matthew 22, and here it is in Mark. It's chapter 12. And so the question that one of the teachers of the law came and heard them debating, noticing that Jesus had given them a good answer, he asked him, of all the commandments, which is the most important? And so it's not really taking from the 12, but it's sort of prioritizing. And what Jesus does then, the most important one, Jesus answered, is, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord your God is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength." And the second is like unto it. Love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. What's interesting then is as Jesus takes this passage, he's taking it from Deuteronomy chapter 6, which isn't even the 12 commandments,
Yeah.
the 10 commandments. It's actually Jesus prioritizing why the 10 commandments are. And if you start to think through the 10 commandments, 5 of those commandments, if you take honor thy father and thy mother as loving the Lord thy God
Yeah.
with all thy heart, soul, mind, and strength, have to do with that first commandment that Jesus gives. Love the Lord with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And the second is like unto it. And those second 5 commandments have to do with how we live with each other. So it's actually a summary, if you will, that Jesus is giving of the 10 commandments by going to Scripture itself and highlighting it.
Yeah.
So it's really Jesus had it down.
Yeah. Because you can look at all the laws, and it's some people could say, and I certainly have before, it's just like, why would I do that, and what, or how even? And it's because to love your neighbors, and everything comes from that. Because if you do these things, it shows, if you follow these rules, it's not like trying to oppress you in most cases, but it's trying to show you that to love your neighbor, and why would we want to love our neighbor is because we love God. I thought that was kind of cool. It's like that he's like, these 2 things, here you go. And like, why do you do the second one? Because you do the first one. If you do the first one, it's very easy to understand why the second one is so fruitful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Exactly.
They're good?
And I think we as humans have a hard time figuring out how to love God. And that's why he breaks it down. Love the Lord with all your heart, all your emotion, all
Mhm.
your soul, everything that's spiritual within you,
Yeah.
and your mind with all you think and you go through your daily activities thinking about, and all your strength. Now, Mark adds strength. It's not in Matthew's gospel. Mark adds strength. And I like that because I think we don't give God as much oomph as maybe we should. I'm a doer.
Yeah.
And if I think of all the works of my hands, honoring and glorifying God, that the works of my hands is worship,
Mm-hmm.
as well as what I do with my heart, my soul, my mind.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, yeah, most of the jobs we do are just serving another person anyways.
Can be, yeah.
Yeah.
I think a farmer, though, honoring and glorifying God through the work he does in the field,
Mm-hmm.
the way he does it, or she does it, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a way of honoring God, the way we work.
Yeah. It's not just more than just serving our fellow humans.
It can be a lot more than serving.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, taking care
it's
of
like
his
you
creation.
said before,
Yeah.
I do what I do because I love God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. All right. Why do we have the offering during the service?
Excellent question. I don't know.
Okay. I was just thinking about that the other day. I was
And
like,
some of the churches, I think, have changed that practice because of COVID.
Yep.
And have a box at the door.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
I've even been to some that just do it online too. Not just online, but also online. And I found once that option's there, I never bring my checkbook. 'Cause I always forget here too, you know?
Well, and we are in a new era. I mean, I used to have to make sure I had X amount of dollars cash in my pocket when I went out, and now I have a card. I hardly use green stuff.
Yep.
That's only happened in the last 10, 12 years.
I agree.
And so the offering comes out of a liturgy we've done for probably 250 years, maybe more.
Interesting.
And so, yeah.
So we could cut that out, and then you could have another like 10 minutes on your message if you wanted.
Yeah, but we'd miss the offertory. So
That's a good point. Fill it with special music.
could do special music. Could
Or
add
magic
to them.
tricks.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure about the magic tricks.
No?
Add it to a prayer time.
Yeah. That's good. All right. Funny questions here. Okay. So you had sons, right?
Yes, I have 2 sons. Well, 2, yeah.
And did you ever get peed on? I've got a story. I'm leading into something that happened.
I wondered if you're leading into something. Yes, yes, and in the early years of ministry, I had a date book in my pocket all the time, and I remember washing out diapers, and all of a sudden the date book went in the toilet,
you used reusable diapers then, huh?
That's back in the old days.
Oh
Yes,
my goodness.
yes, that's when we washed diapers. Oh yes, that was an ugly process, and so I had to rewrite date books. Usually had to get 2 or 3 a year so I could go into another date book. Yeah. So what you did?
Okay, so last
Bennett?
night, no, it wasn't even Bennett. It was Charlie. Last night we were just wrestling on the couch, wrestling. I was like blowing raspberries on his stomach. He's above me, and the thought even occurred to me like he's laughing pretty good. I wonder if I'm gonna. And then all of a sudden, just a bunch of pee came all over my face, in my eyes, in my mouth. And I'm just like, Carly, help. She's sitting over on the chair. And she's like, what? I'm like, because she was nursing. And she's like, what? I'm like, it is peeing on me. And she just starts laughing. She goes, you're on your own, man. We just went to the shower, hosed it all off. And like afterwards, I'm like, oh. He's like, what? You know, I'm like, oh, you peed in my eyes. And he like, you know, after I hosed us all off, which was cold and, you know, not very happy, then he was like, I peed in your eyes, Daddy. I'm like, yeah, I know. That wasn't very fun, man. But yeah.
You did the raspberries.
You're right. You're right. But if he would have said that to me, I would have been like, that's not how this works. This is still you peed on me, man. Come on. But my wife thought that was quite comical, and I'm glad she got to laugh at it.
You gave her something last night.
Oh, yes. That's what it was.
She needed the joy.
Yes, I'm very giving, aren't I? Mm-hmm. All right, last one. Favorite movie?
Oh, man. I've got so many. Well, it has to be between The Hiding Place and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
All right. Everyone listening now is singing that song in their head, and it probably will be there for the rest of the day, right? That's good. Was that a family movie, or is it?
Well, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is
That would be, yeah.
Have you seen that car? I mean, wow.
Oh, yeah, you're a
That
car
is
guy.
my
That's right.
antique car. Yeah. Brass and wood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Don't make them like that anymore.
Yeah.
All right, Don. Well, thanks a lot. This was fun. Take care.
It is. God bless you.